Oh, the joys of live. The joys of live. This is what we love. I'm not sideways anymore, am I, Pete?
I don't know. I need to find the new video first.
It'll be interesting to see if people find us again, because I had to stop the video. It being Facebook, it wouldn't just accept the fact that I'd turned my camera so it was horizontal. It looked horizontal on my phone. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to keep talking anyway, on the hope that...
Yeah, you're the right way around now. That's good.
Oh, that's good. It was getting very difficult to consider doing 45 minutes sideways on. Okay, apologies about that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Facebook can be challenging. Worldwide Quilting Day was what I was talking about, and it's a great thing to be able to celebrate our quilting and our creative pursuits. And in that, on that theme of quilting and the fact that it's, you know, for a lot of us, it's a really good therapy, isn't it? I was on a quilting retreat many years ago, and it was with Christine Porter. Christine Porter was running, and still does from time to time, subject obviously to our sort of issues that we have at the moment. She has Cabot Quilting, which some of you I know have been on and are good friends with Chris. The thing was, we just got in the Sweet 16, and I remember that Mark Hyland, who was running Handy Quilter at the time, his wife said, "You really want to get to grips with that Sweet 16, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I want to become really good at it, actually. I want to be really good at sit-down quilting, and it's just frustrating me at the moment." So anyway, I got this quilt that Chris and I had pieced together, and we pieced it together on a class that she'd run with Marianne Fons of Fons and Porter. And it was a weekend in Kettering, of all places. And we spent the weekend tag team piecing this quilt. And it was probably, I don't know, 2001, 2002, something like that. And anyway, Carol Breyer-Fallett was there at the time, and it was a fantastic weekend. And I bought one of Carol Breyer-Fallett's quilts. So it was a really great weekend. I had great memories. And that quilt top stayed as a quilt top, like for many of you as well, I imagine. Not everybody finishes off their quilts. The thing was, I really wanted to finish it on this Sweet 16. So we got 3 days at this hotel in Bristol on this retreat with Christine Porter and various other teachers and friends of hers. So I've got my Sweet 16. I'm practicing. Next day, practicing. And I didn't know how to do rulers, and I wanted to use rulers on it. I wanted to do circles. And I wanted to do some designs that I'd found on a video that we were then selling on quilting designs. And there's no YouTube, and I didn't know how to use rulers, and I was trying to use these really large circular rulers. So it was quite challenging. Anyway, Leslie, who was a teacher at the time at Creative Quilting, Leslie said to me, "Have you started that quilt yet, Liz?" So I said, "No, I'm just practicing. It's an important quilt. It's important I get it right. So I want to be, I want to not make mistakes. And I'm just practicing the tension, and, a lot of people need help with their tension. When we do the foundation workshop, it's something that we really focus on. And I was just doing this on my own. I got nobody else to ask. Nobody else had one of these machines. So anyway, into day 2, after dinner, might have had a couple of glasses of Chardonnay, and Leslie said, "Have you started that quilt yet?" So I thought, actually, this is the time. This is that moment when I'm going to start my quilt, 8 o'clock on a Saturday evening before the final day of this retreat when I'm supposed to finish the quilt. And it's just because of Leslie, really. So anyway, here's the quilt. And the quilt is not perfect. And this is my point, is that because of encouragement from Leslie, actually she kind of harangued me, really. This is the quilt. And it is not perfect. But it's finished. As Angela Walters keeps telling everybody, finished is better than perfect. And this is a quilt that proves that. Because I refer to it as my circles with the sort of Chardonnay bump. And I don't know whether you can see this, but it has the stitches of varying lengths. And every now and then, as I'm going around my circle, there's little bumps. There's a really bad one somewhere. Oh, look at this. There we go.
You can still bring it close to this.
Okay. There we go. That is a classic Chardonnay bump. Okay, Pete, that's close enough. That's fine. It's fine. You don't have to do any closer. No, that's fine. So, anyway, the other thing was the tension. The tension was not perfect, and I was using King Tut on the top, bottom line on the bottom, and there's little sparkles of King Tut showing through, because I was not an experienced long arm quilter at that time. And this is why I really want to encourage everybody who's got a new machine, had a new machine recently, just to go for it, but maybe don't choose the quilt that has a lot of memories or, you know, importance to you. Choose something that, if you do it, somebody else will love it, regardless of how beautiful or beautifully pieced it is. I mean, I'm really happy that I finished that, and it's lovely. You know, Chris and I are supposed to share it. I think I've had it ever since. She does have quite a few quilts of her own. But it hangs up here because it's a memory and a reminder of the fact that we all have to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. So, you know, get your encouragement by your progress and retain those reminders of where you've come from by just going for it. I cannot tell you any more than that. Just go for it. And everybody who's been sort of wondering about whether to start that quilt, we've now got, this week we launched, for those people who have not been able to come on a foundation workshop and have had a machine in the past year or so, we have offered you the option of having a Facebook, well, not having a Facebook group, joining a Facebook group, which is our virtual workshop, Pinhole Quilting virtual workshop. And that, or virtual classroom. And you should have had an invite if you've had a machine and haven't been on a foundation workshop in the past year. So look out for that in your inbox. I really encourage you to join it. We've got a social on Tuesday for those people who are in the group, and it'll be a way that we can all connect. Those people will be your cohort, if you like. You'll all be that sort of class of 2020, 2021, and you'll be, you know, learning and encouraging each other, I'm sure. And we'll be encouraging you too, because we know what it's like to be a beginner too. Now, Worldwide Quilting Day, there's probably lots and lots of things going on, but I'm going to tell you about the thing that we've got going on, which is a fantastic giveaway. I'm going to show you what's in it. I'm going to do the reveal of all the items in the fantastic giveaway. Now, let me explain how the giveaway works before you get too excited by all the prizes. Okay, there is one big prize. We wanted to make it really, really special by having I can say awesome, Americanism, awesome prize. And the awesome prize is a series of Handy Quilter little goodies, and you can have a chance of winning it. The prize draw will be on Tuesday, and the details are on our Instagram page. So you'll need to follow us on Instagram, you'll need to subscribe to us on YouTube, and you'll need to like us on Facebook. And there's a couple of other things that you need to do just to share it. Share the love, share the love. So what do you get in it? You get, like I have, my lovely apron. This one, Quilt While You're Ahead. Lovely. Love that. Quilt While You're Ahead, you get lovely as gifts, all for yourself. Zinger and scissors. Zinger is one of these things. Very, very handy, particularly when you have a long arm, curved scissors. Most people get those when they get their long arm, but if you fancy sharing the love, then you can always have it as a nice giveaway. You get a lovely little rotary cutting mat that you can keep handily by the side of your machine or to trim excess threads. Pretty handy. Bobbin box to fill all your lovely bobbins and to keep it nice and tidy in your bobbin box. These are really invaluable. I've got one here that's under my Surefoot, which is filled, and you can see, okay, there's a few little threads sort of hanging out, but basically it keeps them nice and tidy, so it's really good. And you get a whole load glide thread. 5 glide thread spools. Lovely, lovely, lovely. They are gorgeous. And now these are the best wadding or batting scissors. And these are what I use personally to cut all of your bits of wadding that we send out with your new machines. And I find them absolutely brilliant, even though, you know, a lot of us don't have very good thumb joints because we've been doing so much sewing and crafting. They're like a knife through butter on your wadding. Now this is a really nice little laptop bag, or it was actually designed to keep your rulers in. But I think it's quite nice, a little tablet or laptop bag and a handy quilter bag. So that's all of the accessories. Oh no, it's not. 2 more things. You could win all of these little things, a lovely nail file with Denise Best, quilted by Denise Best, little design on there by Denise. Denise came over, didn't she, in 2019. Beautiful nail file and a stylus handy quilted pen. So those are all the things that you can win, and all you have to do is just like us, join us, subscribe to us, love us, and all that kind of thing, and you have a chance of winning. So that is our giveaway for Worldwide Quilt Day.
Can you just go through again exactly what people have to do to qualify?
I can, yeah. So it's actually on an Instagram post, which was posted, I believe, at 10:30 today.
So you have to be on Instagram?
Yeah, you do have to be on Instagram. So you need to be on Instagram. And if you need a young person to help you do that, then obviously, do that. The things you need to do, if you like us on Facebook, which hopefully, because we're on Facebook, you already do, you need to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. And then tag, it says how to do this on the Instagram post, tag, and even better, if possible, share. Now, that's what we ask you to do. So if you could do all those things, then that means that it helps us get out to more and more people, and the giveaway is within your reach. The giveaway will be drawn, I believe it's on Tuesday. So I have put details, not on the, because I forgot to do it, on the Pinhole customers email. You may not have received details of it, but everybody else who's on our newsletter. And so I'll post this on Facebook as well so that you can go over to Instagram. Why don't I do that? I'll do it after we finish, Pete. I'll post it, all the details and a link to our Instagram. That's the easiest way. Now, we've had another busy week. We've got another, put it on the email that I sent out this morning. We've got another lovely Avanti customer who is hopefully today maybe watching along. Anyway, welcome, Debbie. And I hope you're enjoying your new machine. We have one Avanti left in stock. Handy Quilter have actually discontinued the Avanti, but don't worry. Anybody who buys the Avanti, one of the things that we checked for a different machine actually was how long they keep spares and all that kind of thing. Handy Quilter are really good. I know not all manufacturers do this, but they keep spares. They will keep spares for years. We also have our own stock of spares, so you should not be concerned about a discontinued machine because it really isn't. There's tons of Avantis out there. So they will keep it as a continuing model that's supported for many, many years. And it's a 5-year warranty on the Avanti as well, which is transferable. So if you do upgrade, you can pass it on to somebody else. Anyway, the Avanti, very, very nice machine, tried and tested, beautiful for professionals and for hobby quilters alike. And we just have one left, but it's at a really good price. So if you would love a long arm and you've been tempted and thought about the Avanti before, then we just got one. Now, next thing I'd like to talk with you about is if you're doing your quilting and you've got a puffy quilt, I'm going to give you some extreme puffiness with some samples that I've got here. These are samples of, as I say, extreme puffiness. These are, I've showed them before actually. They were done by the Yale College in Wrexham. They made their own wool wadding and then put some muslin either side of it. And actually they quilted it onto these pieces, which are wool blankets. This would be a perfect application for the foot that I'd like to talk with you about next, which is the glide foot. So the glide foot, it can go on your Moxie, it can go on your Sweet, your Capri, your Simply. I've got one over here. And the glide foot is I've got a new one here. This is the box. Glide foot 2 is the current incarnation. There was glide foot, followed by glide foot 2, the return of. And glide foot, they changed the model because the first one, which some of you may have, was quite domed, and it made it more difficult to thread the needle than the other standard foot. And so I think they basically said, we'll redo it. And they redid it. And this is what it looks like now. It's less domed, and it has etched markings on it, which are more difficult to see because it's clear, but it's much shallower, and that makes it easier to thread the needle. The lovely thing about the glide foot is it literally just glides over the surface of your quilt. So when would you use it? The glide foot 2 is perfect for when you're doing pantographs, quilting from the back, and you can't see where the foot is, because it means that when you go on and off the quilt sandwich, and there's a danger of it catching the edge of your quilt, even if you've sewn down the edge, you know, sometimes it's possible just to get the standard foot caught in the edge of it, then the glide foot 2 is absolutely perfect for going on and off at the end of pantographs, also groovy boards. We also recommend it if you've got Pro Stitcher. So, you know, Pro Stitcher, when people order Pro Stitcher, they just normally order the machine, the Pro Stitcher and a glide foot. And that's pretty much all they need. But for those people who just want to do computerized quilting, the glide foot is definitely to be recommended. Because when we do our edge-to-edge designs, like pantographs, we're going off all sides of the quilt. So let me just show you, and I might need a bit of help with this, Pete, is how to fit a glide foot. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to just tell you about the feet and fitting feet. When we check all the machines before they're dispatched, we make sure that the height of this foot is, at its lowest point, is just above. It should be no more than, can you say what the definition is, Pete? Because you're much more accurate than me.
Well, this foot isn't at the lowest point, but when it is at the lowest point, when you turn the hand wheel, it should be just above the level of the needle plate, and no more than a business card's depth away.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you will ever have to adjust. Even if you have a thick quilt, the presser foot is on a spring mechanism, so you will not need to adjust the height of that foot ever.
Yeah. And that's an important point, because by using the glide foot, it actually enables you to quilt with something that might be a little thicker. You know, it's not uncommon for people now to use double layers of thickness, or to have perhaps minky on the back and a flannel quilt top with wool wadding. So, you know, in that case, this might be, you might feel like this is very close to the surface of your quilt. But a couple of things to mention. When you do needle up, needle down on your machine, so I'm just going to demonstrate. If I do needle down and needle up, this motion here takes the needle up to a certain point, but actually, and the foot as well, actually these will go potentially slightly higher. If I go to the back of the machine and I rotate the machine towards me from this left-hand side, you'll see when it goes down and it goes up, it's actually, at that point there, is actually very, very high. So sometimes the range of movement on the machine is higher by going to the rear hand wheel than it is just by doing needle down, needle up. When I do needle down, needle up, and I want to change the foot, so you can see it's actually slightly lower than what I just did, but let's just do it at its normal range of motion, because you wouldn't always want to go to the back. It's easier to change a foot by taking the machine to the side. With the L-shaped Allen key, take off the sort of the tightest bit of the tightness of the screw that holds it in place, and then you can easily undo the screw. The screw goes all the way through, and the foot should just drop off like that. But say it doesn't, because perhaps this range of movement has meant that it's just sort of hovering there, or maybe you're in the middle of the quilt, you don't want to move it to the side. This is actually on a spring. Okay, so this that's on a spring, it should be possible to have lifted that up with the foot in place, and then the foot will just drop off.
Just to say, that little screw that is loosened there to take the foot off, you don't need to take that out completely. In fact, I'd recommend you don't.
No, don't.
It's quite difficult to put it back in. You just need to loosen it to the point where the foot comes off.
Yeah. Now, this is the Moxie. So the orientation of the needle is that the foot is just behind it, which is the same as the Infinity. But we're going to show you in a moment, when we finish with this one, how the Simply 16 is arranged, which is how all the others are. So when we put the foot on, what we want to do is do it sort of at an angle to begin with, and then push it all the way up, and then you can tighten that screw. With a plastic foot, like the square foot and the glide foot, what you don't want to do is tighten this really, really hard. It's actually gone all the way through to the back of the foot, and that is nice and firm. I'm just going to do a little bit, but it shouldn't, what you don't want to do is splay that foot where it joins in, because it is plastic. And it should last quite a long time, but when I've seen some people, when they're using this glide foot, just push the foot around, the machine around, and it sort of has worn bits of the glide foot. Whenever we're finishing and starting, we always pull extra off the cone. We don't just move the machine to the side. Okay, so that's the foot, the glide foot, and what you'll see is, look, it just literally just glides over the surface. There's no catching or anything. And this is going to be perfect also for if you've got raised patchwork. Say you've got prairie points, you might have, a nice flange binding. You might have some other raised work, ribbon work or surface design. And the last thing you want to do is get your foot caught on the underside of it. I did quilt a quilt with Pro Stitcher on one occasion, and it had got ribbons that someone had sewn down 3 sides, but not the 4th. And I had a horrible moment when the machine went over it and it got caught underneath. Luckily, it didn't rip it, but it was very close. So that's the glide foot. Anything else that you would like to add, Pete, onto the glide foot?
Not really on the glide foot.
Okay.
There's a couple of questions, as there usually are, about the tool tray here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is called the tool tray.
Isn't it good?
Fact,
we love it.
A couple of people saying that they like it. We've just had a delivery from Handy Quilter yesterday, and so
Yep.
we've got, I think, just 3 more in stock
Yeah.
now. So
I just did the stock this morning, so it should have updated. And if any of you want one of those, there's a few in stock. Okay.
So when would you use that glide foot then?
Yeah, so that was, I went through that. That's pantographs, Pro Stitcher, groovy boards, anything where you're quilting from the back, or extremely puffy quilts.
And Pro Stitcher.
And Pro Stitcher, yeah.
If you have the computerized system.
Yeah. Okay, should we look at the Simply? Because I just want to show that different orientation of the glide foot here. And so here we've got the needle and the foot. So when we're adjusting this, if I just show you moving away to bring up that thread. And we'll just demonstrate changing the foot. If I was to take the foot off, it's a little bit of drift. Yeah. Now, on this one then, I would just take off the tightest bit with that short end, and then I can easily take off the rest with that longer end. And
so it's exactly the same, it's just that the foot is
so on this one,
to the left of the needle.
Say I don't want to, yeah, exactly. Say I don't want to move the quilt to the side, the foot to the side, I can just lift that up and then just take that away. Now, Abigail's just done a little video on a new little virtual classroom for the new owners. And what she demonstrated was actually that you can lift up this using the end of your Allen key, like so. So if you find it's a struggle, because sometimes they're quite strong, that's on a spring, and it's quite strong.
Particularly when the machines are new.
Yeah, exactly. So to put it back on, just angle it first, and then if you need to, you can lift that up. I'll just demonstrate that with that in there.
I see Joyce has already answered a question here, but Diane asked whether the glide foot would be good if you were quilting on vintage pieces such as lace,
yes,
etc.
it
Absolutely,
would.
that is an ideal use for it.
That's a great question. And definitely, you know how when you've got a piece that you're basting down at the beginning, it's absolutely perfect for that. The only thing I would say is that for visibility, like if you were switching between doing something like that and then doing some micro quilting, the visibility on this foot is not so good because you can't see around it very well. It gets distorted by the angle of the perspex, but it's very good for those other purposes, and for basting on a vintage piece, ideal. Okay, so that ask away any other questions you've got on the glide foot when you would use it. Now, because we have demonstrated the glide foot in similar to previous weeks on our Saturday Live, we have got an offer for you. And for those of you who don't have the glide foot yet, we would love you to get a glide foot. So we're going to encourage you to do so. And the offer is this, that with every glide foot up until next week, 12 o'clock on Friday.
While stocks last.
While stocks last. Really important. Really, really important. You just got to get in there quick. While stocks last, the glide foot, you will get a free glide thread ×2, a light, and one of our most popular, best-selling colours. So 2 glide threads worth £8 with your £41 glide foot. So if you would like to take that offer up, please just go ahead onto our website, handyquilter.co.uk, where you can order it. And I will amend the website to show that, but even if you order now, we will make sure any orders from now on include the 2 glide spools as well as the foot.
So we'll do that automatically. Anybody who orders the glide foot, then we will automatically add those 2 spools of glide 1,000 metre thread.
Yeah, you don't have to enter a code or anything else like that. Pete will take care of it for you. So the other thing that I wanted to mention to you today, what was the other thing I wanted to mention? Was there anything else? Oh, yes. How could we forget? So yesterday, we took delivery of some new products. But because there was a lot of other things to do, didn't quite get around to putting them on the website. But, because there's quite a lot of work involved in that. But we are very excited because we've got a range of new products that we think you're going to love. We did do some of them earlier. We bought them last year before. When we were at Houston, we bought some and people loved them. And so we bought some more. So they are these things, which are stencils, but they're just fantastic because they're not like normal plastic stencils. They are made of this sort of mesh. What are they made of? I did find out actually. I can't remember now.
It's a flexible plastic.
Flexible plastic, yeah. And the way that it works is we use it in conjunction with quilt pounce. This one is one that you can iron away. It just disappears. Or it pretty much pounces away by the time you finish with it. I recommend that you do have a firm surface underneath. You might want to you might just want to pin or attach with some of the grips so that your quilt top is firm, and you can just swipe over this. There we go. And the nice thing with this one is that you've got these alignment things. Actually, I've never used this one before, so maybe live demo. We'll work that one out. There's a way of aligning it.
Yes, so
that's what these are.
This one can be used
for
as if it was a pantograph, effectively.
Yeah.
So you could line one up against the next.
Yeah.
And instead of using the machine from the back, you can mark directly on the quilt.
Yeah. So there's these markers that come up, so that when you line that up there, so that it joins up, etc. So cool. But we've got grids, we've got diamond grids, we've got feathers, and this is going to be great for people having a real playtime with their machine. So once you've done that with your Moxie, I can now just thread her up.
So we have lots of different designs of those stencils. That's just one example to show you straight away.
Yeah, we've literally opened one packet so far from the delivery. Hot foot off the
So we'll be featuring those
plane
next week, I suspect.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just pick that up. And haven't got the light on this one. Just check something. It's not. Okay. So I've got it on cruise, 11 stitches per inch with a cruise speed of 50. I want to go up to 150, so I'm going to go into the cruise setting, and I'm just going to change that to 125. Now that's set. bit too fast. There we go, etc.
So the stencils are not available yet. We're just previewing one this week to show you what's coming for next week. So
exactly.
they're not available to purchase on our website yet. A lot of work to do before that. Somebody's asked about, is there any more information on the Pro Stitcher for Moxie?
No, not yet. I mean,
There was a post by Handy Quilter this week.
There was. So, yeah, I mean, if you're like us and you saw that at the same time that we did. So we don't actually know anymore.
but clearly they're getting to the point where they're happy to start talking about it now.
Exactly.
So it must be on its way.
Yeah, which is really exciting. Because I think, Moxie with Pro Stitcher, in whatever guise it comes, is going to be an exciting innovation. And we're really thrilled that they've decided to go that route with the Moxie, which has already proved to be a very popular machine.
Okay, question from Mary. How did you make that pounce work so well?
Okay, so yeah, for those people who aren't familiar with the pounce, it comes in, you get a container.
It's about making it work effectively rather than how it works, but it's worth describing.
Yeah, but I just thought I'd just start from the scratch. So basically, it has this spongy thing. Sponge? What's that? Like a fleecy thing, and a reservoir, and you get a separate container, a little bag with your chalk in it. That goes in there. And the key thing with it to make it work actually is to do that, particularly at the beginning, until it comes through, and then you can start to see the powder on the pad. And you wipe, you don't pounce it on, you literally just wipe it over, hold the stencil in place, wipe it over.
Whichever stencil like you're using.
Beautiful.
Just swipe it rather than...
Look how quick that is. This is why we love pounce. It's so cool. So that's a bit about pounce. So the idea is that by next week, we will have got all of the new products up and the pounce, and there will be a special offer that we will have available for you next week. But I just wanted to give you an insight so that you can be thinking about that and how you might use a stencil on your quilt. And we'll go through all of that and give you all the demos. And it's as suitable for sit down as it is for stand-up quilters. So I hope you're as excited as we are, because we think that range of products is going to be really, really useful to our customers. So we're pretty thrilled about it. Anything else? Any other questions that I need to answer?
Well, it's an unrelated question, but we can cover it.
Okay.
Can you tell us a bit more about your Glide Thread Club, please?
The Glide Thread Club. Do you want to go through the Glide Thread Club?
Okay, the Glide Thread Club. We stock every colour that Glide makes in both 1,000 metres and 5,000 metre spools. Yeah. And that totals 266 different colours at the moment.
Lush.
On the 1,000 metre spools, we have gathered those together in collections of 9 different threads.
Yeah, I'll go and get the pictures while you're talking.
With a different theme to each colour. And those are sold at a 25% discount. So if you buy the particular set of 9 that we've put together, that is on sale for £27 instead of buying the threads individually, which would be £36. So, for example, this is a set of 9 blues.
Yep.
And there are therefore something like 27 different sets. So each of these is a collection within what we're calling our Glide Thread Club. But there is no obligation. We're not saying you have to buy one of these every month. You can buy these as and when you wish. You can buy any collection at any time with the same discount. But if you wish to, if you buy every one, it will enable you to purchase the entire colour selection from
I love this one. This is beautiful. Look at that.
That's our pastels selection.
Yeah. Pastels. So yeah, I mean, they're just beautiful sort of selections. Now that one is graffiti.
Yes.
That would be great on a black quilt. Amazing.
So Jacqueline's asking what would be a good starter pack, because she's not
good starter pack would be something like that.
Well, we have light classics and light blenders, which would be the 2 most popular packs.
Yes.
Because that would be a good place to start, Jacqueline.
Light classics.
So that's light classics. That's got some of the most popular light colours of all of the Glide threads
Yeah, beautiful. I do love some of these other ones though, like that one. It's heavy metal, isn't it? I think that's heavy metal. Heavy metal.
Well done.
Yeah.
You recognised it.
I did.
So that's it. It's a no obligation thing. You're not tying yourself into anything, but if you wish to buy one of those selections, you get them at a discount because it's just much quicker for us to pick and pack them in one go.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it's lovely because it means that you've got then a range, and they might not be ones that necessarily on the website you might kind of go, ooh, yes. But I remember a very, very good quilter years ago, she talked about this colour. It's kind of like a bit like the prickly pear, but this colour is amazing, and it's one of those colours that makes real zing. If you take that out, it loses something. And I remember discussing with her, and it was like the kind of green that you get at this time of year when the trees are just coming out. It's that beautiful, incredible green. And colours like that you don't always pick. And Ginny Beyer, I remember when she came, she did a talk back in the 90s in Solihull, and she talked about the sludge green that she used. And, you know, in her collection, it was a perfect colour and a perfect foil when you put it with other things. So a bit like the prickly pear and the penny that we've got as well. They're all really interesting colours, but not necessarily ones that you might think of. So you know, when they're in a collection like that, it gives you the opportunity to experiment. So we hope that you're able to do that by getting some of the Glide Thread Club.
Okay. One of the Thread Club collections is out of stock at the moment, but we have just received our final box of Glide Thread yesterday, so by the end of today, everything will be back in stock. Yeah, shipments are drip feeding at the moment, so you know, we apologise for not having the stock that we normally have, but actually it's things getting really held up. Okay, well, international, worldwide, whatever you like to call it, Quilting Day. Have an amazing day. I hope you do lots of quilting, you find creativity and inspiration in the things that you do, and we really look forward to seeing you next Saturday at 11 o'clock. Okay, see you then. Bye.